Crick Buzz at Stumps, Adam Collins, Harsha Bhogle. Another fascinating day here at Adelaide Oval. Australia have been set 323 for what would be a most unlikely victory. India have taken 4 of the required 10 wickets today on day 4. Plenty to pick through, Harsha. Let's start with the batting of Jiteshwar Pujara. 71 he made today. Ajinkya Rahane made 70. They laid the foundation. They won that crucial first hour. They made sure that after getting Kohli out last night that Australia couldn't capitalise, and it always meant Australia were chasing a massive total after that.
I enjoyed watching it because I think it's pretty well known to Crick Buzz viewers that I enjoy watching Pujara and Rahane, and yet they played in different styles. Rahane got 70, but he was always searching for an opportunity, and I thought the shot of the day was when he hit one from Cummins, it might have been, on the rise.
Yep.
And we said, wow, that's some shot. But Pujara, such denial. He was never going to get affected by the situation. And those two ensured that there was, even if it was a minor chance, there was no chance India's actually going to end up collapsing or lose the game. So I think they took the partnership away. And then that little cameo from Rishabh Pant, for whom every ball is a Diwali cracker to be burst.
He made 28 off 16 balls before holing out. Let's talk about the contest between Nathan Lyon and Pujara. Lyon ended up picking up 6 wickets. He's got a wonderful record here at Adelaide Oval and in Test cricket in Australia more broadly. But two of the elite players at the peak of their powers duking it out. It was wonderful cricket.
It was, and it was fascinating to see the tactics they employed, because Pujara would go down the wicket and pick up a single or two, or he would thrust his pads out, 25% of the delivery, something like that. He thrust his pads out too. My only criticism of Nathan Lyon, I'm a big fan of Nathan Lyon, was he needed to get those top order wickets earlier. He doesn't have the one that drifts away, or he doesn't, no one bowls a doosra anymore these days, but he doesn't bowl that arm ball as much. So he was almost predictable in what he was going to do. But gee, he lands that ball on the spot like he can land it where he wants to. So just reward in the end, but Australia would have liked those Nathan Lyon wickets maybe to have come just a little earlier.
And after that came Rishabh Pant. He made 28 in 16 balls. It's an innings which has been controversial somewhat. I quite liked it. I like the idea of him coming out and trying to beat Australia into submission before chasing a big total. But that wasn't shared universally. It was the catalyst for a late order collapse. India lost their last 5 wickets for 25 runs. How did you see it? Did you think he should have batted more conservatively, or you relaxed with him batting the way he would in the IPL?
I just wonder if he was sent out thinking, look, we've already got enough. Australia looking a little down. Let's go and hit them when it hurts them. Let's get these 30-40 runs really quickly and take the game away. My only criticism is that I think there's so much more to Rishabh Pant. There's so much more in the tank there. If you had someone like a Shami did that, or someone else did that, that's okay. So I think as he understands match situations, he'll become a much better batsman. But gee, the audacity of it all. Now look at it this way. They put on about 35-40. That made the difference between about 280 and 320. And for a while, at least, it took the wind out of the Australian sail. So, yes, he added those runs, but I would have liked to see a bit more, only because I think there's so much more to him.
So after Australia took those late flurry of wickets, then the drama started. Aaron Finch, who got himself a duck in the first innings, nearly bagged a pair. Ishant Sharma cutting back through, hitting him on the pad. It would have been given out if not for the fact that he'd overstepped, and it was recalled retrospectively. Harsha, I don't like this. I think that we've reached a point of maturation in the game when surely front foot no balls can be adjudicated by a TV official rather than going through this unedifying process time and time again.
I know you feel strongly about that too, Adam, and with good reason. I think there was another no ball later that wasn't called. We had a situation, I think, where Shannon Gabriel bowled about 15-20 no balls that weren't called. We had a situation recently in Sri Lanka where no balls weren't being called, because somewhere I get the feeling umpires are saying, look, it's a little too tough, this and that. So let me just look there, and if there's a wicket, we might as well go and refer it, and we'll discover anyway. So I understand that the umpire's job is tough, but there's just far too many no balls not being called.
Yeah, and I feel for them. I don't know if I'd call a no ball if I were an umpire either.
If you're a bowler, now look, if you're a bowler, sometimes the umpires tell you, listen, you're getting a little close to the line. But if you know you're getting close to the line, or even if somebody calls a no ball, as a bowler, you know, right, I need to come back a little bit. But if nobody's calling you, then you probably think you're bowling okay. And then when you get a wicket, you lose the wicket. So it doesn't take away from the crime, but I think as a bowler, I'd want to be better informed on how close I'm getting.
Yeah, correct. It hurts batting teams for not getting the extra run when we see these balls on the television coverage afterwards. As a bowler, as you're spot on there, they're not told, and therefore they're subject to these retrospective no balls. They've got to fix it. It set off a bit of a chain reaction where there was a lot of tension in the air. Aaron Finch did end up being the first wicket to fall. He didn't review one that In hindsight, he may have, although we did hear from Nathan Lyon in the media conference saying that it wouldn't have been overturned anyway, but it was that moment where the wicket started falling for Australia.
It's a tricky one. We had a long discussion about that, and Michael Vaughan's view was that the new gloves, with the padding on the new gloves, if even the ball just skims off, just touches the glove and goes, sometimes the batsman doesn't know. So maybe that might have prompted Aaron Finch not to look for the review. But the point from the third umpire is spot on. The third umpire has to prove conclusively otherwise. But if there's nothing on Snicko, if there's nothing on hotspot, then maybe the umpire has got a point there, saying, look, I need to overturn that. I think in the television camera, in the television crew, they actually froze the picture on the hotspot and tried to then zoom hotspot, and then there was a debate on whether or not it was there. When you've got to go that deep, maybe the benefit of doubt goes to the batsman.
Marcus Harris edged off to Mohammad Shami. He made 26 in both innings, but it's a promising start. Usman Khawaja clearly wanted to take down Ashwin, and he wasn't able to stick the landing on that. He was probably the guy that needed to bat through.
Was that his strength though? What's Usman Khawaja's strength? His strength is you can't get me out. I'll bat in there, as you showed in the UAE. So that was the one shot I was a little disappointed by. Maybe to some extent Peter Hanscom, but you could say maybe he mistimed the shot. But with Khawaja, he's currently the leader of Australia's batting, and sometimes you've got to play like you are the leader because you know everyone's looking at you. So I think if I was Aussie, I'd be a little disappointed with Usman Khawaja. If I was Indian, I'd say, wow, that's the wicket I wanted.
Interesting that you mentioned Dubai and the way that Usman Khawaja and Australia batted there to save the game. Nathan Lyon at the media conference also told us that the captain Tim Payne brought them in at stumps tonight and said, we can do this. We can win from any situation, or more to the point, they can avoid losing first and foremost tomorrow. So they've kept a fairly cheery disposition despite losing 4 wickets before stumps. The one they didn't get before the close of play, Harsha, was that of Shaun Marsh, the enigma. We know that he's got a higher proportion of scores in single digits than any player probably in the history of the game in the top 6. I'd be bold enough to say that. But he made it to 31. He made it out of the single digits in the 31. He looked quite good before the close. We saw what he did at Ranchi last year in saving that test match there. Why not?
Yeah, and a match winning 150 here for Western Australia against South Australia on a very similar surface, but the intensity of a test match, the quality of the bowling coming at him would be very different. I think he's the key. If Marsh goes early, I'm predicting a very early finish to this game, but if Australia can bat 98 overs to save this game, you know what, I think the Indians will go and shake their hands and say well done, but it'll require some batting to be able to do that. I think India should be looking to wrap it up little either side of lunch.
Yeah, they absolutely should. 98 overs due tomorrow. Australia require a further 219 runs to win. So if they bat out the overs, it'll be a wonderful win for the home side.
In their favour, though, is batsmen are not getting out playing defensive shots. If you back your defence, as Pujara did, as so many of them have done, if you back your defence, it's still not easy because the rough for Ashwin is not there for the left-hander. It's outside the right-handers off stump. So there's not a lot for Ashwin to work with either. If they can be patient, but can they be?
We're off to day 5. It should be fun. Don't miss a ball on Crick Buzz. Crick Buzz at Stumps, of course, with Adam Collins and Harsha Bhogle.